going to try something out. We're going to see if this works. We'll see. Nice. Okay. All right, we've got audio. I don't know what YouTube is doing right now. Awesome. All right, making one minor adjustment and then we'll get started. All right. Well, welcome. I think you're hearing the IMAX audio. So I apologize. You're also probably hearing my daughter go to sleep. All right, so here's the backstory. This is how I have gotten into this mess. Is I decided to bypass OBS and basically stream straight to YouTube. The problem is I can't tell YouTube, like, apparently to take audio through my Pocket 4K. So if you're joining, I may leave this up, I may not, because the audio is just trash. Okay. How's everyone doing tonight? While everyone kind of comes in, I'm going to basically just kind of let everybody know where the hell we are, because YouTube is a cluster sometimes. All right. So here we are. Here we are. While I'm getting everything sorted here, how's everybody feeling about the announcement this week with the new Pocket 6K Pro? Who's pre-ordered it? Oh, I see what's happening. All right, so okay, I think I figured out how to make the audio a little bit better. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let me turn off Bluetooth here. Yep. Okay, do we still have audio? Do we have audio? Because right now I am trying to get the audio to come through my AirPod Pros. Does it sound better than the iMac? Because I can't monitor everything and have it all going at once. Problem solving. All right, let me get on IG Live and we'll get this. I even think. So, all right, let me look who's pre-ordered this. Staying with 4K, it says Manuel Castillo, selling my Ursa Mini 4.6K to get the 6K Pro, says Nathan. That's awesome. let's see. That sounds the same. I'm sorry about that. I still think it's the iMac. I swear sometimes, just like whatever. All right, haven't pre-ordered it, but very close. Batteries are the biggest upgrade for me. Was going to order a Pocket 6K to complement the 4K, but seems to be better. Yeah, I'm honestly like, wait, are you saying, Alex, are you saying the 4K is better or the 6K is better than but the Pro seems better? Sorry. The Pro is, I mean, that's up for interpretation. I'm keeping my Pocket 4K. Hello, Instagram. We are live. About 25 minutes late, but now we have audio, so we're making this work. Let me know if you have questions. Comment below. All right, so the Idiot Savant says, I'm trying to decide between the C70 and the 6K Pro. Let me make sure I'm in focus. There we go. Nucleus Nano. I love the Nucleus Nano. Y'all love it so much. So 6K Pro C70. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely you know, a little bit of a deciding factor as far as they're very similar. Honestly, $6,000 for the C70, that's the hardest part for me. But, you know, one of the things that I wanted to bring to you guys, actually, let me we had a rough start. Let me start off by saying a couple things. If you guys, I want to start off by apologizing, because if you guys did see one of the 4 scheduled streams from like 4 hours ago, now I feel like this is like the 5th stream. I tried to go with a creative route on getting this up and running and people to like get involved in the conversation. Fernando, awesome. Portugal here. Welcome, Portugal. Welcome from North Carolina, USA. But I want to apologize because basically I, said my title was something like why I canceled my pre-order for the 6K Pro. I did cancel my pre-order for the 6K Pro, and I want to talk about it, but I don't really want to grow this channel by being negative and, giving you guys clickbait. So I apologize. That's not my intention. That's why if you saw it or like at 4 o'clock today and you saw something differently, come around 6 o'clock. That's why, as I basically was like, this is not what I'm trying to do. I went over to a Facebook group to kind of let everybody know we're having the stream, and it just kind of like got toxic there. So I was just like, I'm good. That's not what I'm trying to do. So that's the first thing. That being said, I do want to talk about this. I want this to be an open discussion. I want this to be, what everybody feels about this. Some people have pre-ordered it. Some people haven't. Some people are deciding. And I said this in the day of the announcement. I did a stream with Joe from Driven Films, and if you guys haven't checked out Joe's channel, he is killing it. I don't know which camera to look at, but he is crushing it. He's very much on the path of just like, I know in views wise, like he's crushing me. And I think he's about to pass me in subscribers really easily, and he does great work. So if you haven't checked out his channel, he specializes in automotive videography and filmmaking, and so definitely check out his channel. But anyways, we were talking about how the C70 is like the direct competitor. Like if Blackmagic was going after, one camera in this announcement, excuse me, it is the C70. Here's my only issue with that. And this will play a part into why I canceled my pre-order. The C70 comes with and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I believe the C70 comes with an RF mount. I'm 99.9% sure, but I was also 99.9% sure it didn't have NDs, and somebody corrected me that it did. But with it having RF mount, I genuinely, I'm at a point where I think a camera should have either interchangeable lenses or a mirrorless mount. EF is an industry standard or not an industry standard, but because technically PL would be more in line with industry standard, but it is more popular in the industry beyond PL. But the problem with it is as you see, and Philip just said about the Komodo, you're starting to see more cameras and more cinema cameras that have RF mount. And more mirrorless mounts. And so I think it's just, it's limiting. The biggest thing for me, and honestly, I don't know why I put it up. I meant to have it out. But one of the biggest reasons why this was spoiled for me was because of my utter love and just drive and passion for the Sigma FP. That camera has spoiled me on full frame, and full frame that has a beautiful codec. What's up, Joshua? It's really spoiled me on wanting to shoot more full frame. Now, I'm not as fortunate as some individuals over in the Instagram live chat that's able to get the Zcam F6, E2 F6. That's still out of my price budget, and so having something like the Sigma FP for like $2,000 was, I'm sorry. I just looked down at the chat and Jerky says I'm pooping. I'm sorry if that's inappropriate. That's kind of hilarious. So that being said, the Sigma FP's really ruined me on full frame. And so with the deciding factor for me on why I canceled the pre-order for the 6K Pro was the fact that with the EF mount, I am tied to that Super 35 sensor. There's no speed boosting, or at least if there is, I don't know about a speed booster for EF, but there's no speed boosting, so I can't get close to that full frame look as much as I can with something that has either interchangeable lens mounts like freaking Zcam, or even for that matter, I think the Ursa Mini, either the new Ursa Mini or one of the Ursa Mini lines has interchangeable lenses. So Blackmagic knows how to do it, but that was the biggest deciding factor for me. Is I did not want to be tied to Super 35 and only Super 35 and not be able to get a wider field of view. So that's where I am. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, I love this camera, and I want to talk about it. I want to celebrate this camera because this is an amazing camera. You've got built-in NDs. You've got Gen 5 color science. You've got the flip screen. You literally have everything that Blackmagic owners has said we would want this, with the exception of the cube form factor, and I'll give you that. I am a little bit sad about that. I do love small form factor. That's another thing that FP has kind of ruined me on. Is this is my OG. I was going to leave the FP out, but this is the OG pocket camera. Like, it's not much bigger than this and does 4K, still up to 30 frames per second, cinema DNG raw. And somebody had said in the chat that it does B-roll now, and I absolutely shoot in B-roll. Sorry about that. I absolutely shoot in B-roll. With the Blackmagic Video Assist, I actually just upgraded that and got the FP a little bit more production ready, because basically so I originally bought the 5-inch, but the 5-inch doesn't come with XLR ports and doesn't come with a LANC port, or LANC, I don't know how to pronounce it, which small thing, but the Nucleus Nano if I have it connected to the camera for start and stop, I can press record right here. And as a single filmmaker or somebody that films yourself a lot, that's a huge benefit. So, and so I actually upgraded to the 7-inch, and B&H was gracious to accept the return of the 5-inch, even though it's been a little bit longer than 30 days. And so shout out to B&H for helping me out with that. So I didn't have to like try to resell it and be out like $500. Okay, so when I put this out, obviously I said 7:30. I was wrong about that. I told everybody to grab a beverage. We got a beverage. We're good. So enough from me. Let's hear what you guys think. Over on Instagram, let me know what you guys think about the Pocket 6K Pro, and then we'll come over here to YouTube and go through the chat here. We have quite a bit of pre-orders. Mike, sorry, I'm horrible about names, guys, so I'm sorry if I butcher your name, but Mike Jimenez said, I want one. Dude, it's a great camera. So we've got C70, the competition between C70 and 6K Pro. I had my heart set on the Lumix S5. I think I would go with a Pocket 6K Pro. Leo Nell Builds, or I'll just say Leo. I want to say the whole name so you know I'm exactly talking to you. But Leo, why not the S5? The S5 is a great camera. It's basically like a full frame GH5, and we all know how that goes. I personally I kind of fell out of love with the Panasonic color science. But it's still a great camera. And new Gen 5 color will be tasty. Okay, I'm going to get to more of this. But this is also one reason I'm not super sad that I'm keeping the Pocket 4K. I feel like I'm coming in and out of focus because I'm so excited. But the Pocket 4K and the current Pocket 6K, the non-Pro version, will eventually get the Gen 5 upgrade, which is dope. I'm all for that. I really wish they would do that in the FP with the video assist, because I think you can only go in Gen 5 or Gen 4 at this point, even in post. And so that's hopefully an upgrade. Also, I kind of hope that an FP Mark II is coming out. So that's another reason why I canceled my pre-order. Gerald Bertram, guys, Gerald is blowing up as well. If you guys are, jeez, I swear. If you guys are, I'm sorry, I get distracted. When you get to be a certain point on YouTube, and Joshua with Joshua Martin Studios may also be able to talk about this, and Driven, or anybody that's at a certain point in YouTube, you get these weird spam comments, and they're just links to just like some not great places. And so I have to like actively go in and be like, I'm gonna delete your comment. That's weird. Peeling back the veil of what the hell happens in YouTube land. Gerald Bertram Photography is blowing up, does some great reviews. Check out his channel. I love it because he does a lot of good budget friendly stuff. And honestly, with that's what I try to focus on for my entirety of reviews. And I think you guys kind of gathered from my last video, I'm trying to do less reviews this year. Not that I'm going to stop doing reviews, but I'm going to start trying to do more educational stuff. Start making films, short films, microfilms, give you guys an update on the microfilm that is coming up. I am currently waiting for the 7-inch Blackmagic Video Assist to finish up a couple shots there. And I did a poll today. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, actually, I think you can see my community page even if you're not subscribed. But go to my actual channel page, go to the community page, and vote. So in my rig breakdown video for the short film, I told you guys I was using the Canon 50mm f1.4. For some reason, I completely forgot that I own the Helios 442. And so I kind of want to reshoot the entire thing on the Helios 442, it's really not that many shots, so it won't like delay the production a lot. but go to the community page and vote if you want me to stay with the 50mm f1.4 or switch over to the Helios 442, because let's be real, that's an amazing lens. But anyways, so there's a little bit of a delay in the short film, but that being said, Gerald Bertram is taking up the steed, or taking the wheel on budget gear stuff. I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening with my voice. All right, Gerald, what's up? Gerald says, I see what you've been doing with the FP. Tempted to get one. I will advocate for that camera all day long. I will advocate more for a used copy of the camera, because as much as I love it, I don't know if I would pay $1,800 for it. I got a pretty sweet deal on it, so I would find it used if you can, or wait till the Mark II comes out and then just bug me for it. Maybe I'll sell it. All right, so okay, which is honestly so. All right, Hal says, other than full frame, which honestly is why I still not gone BMD for camera. What was the original comment there? I think it was pretty far back. Okay, gotcha. All right, so we got a couple more comments in here. Isn't Sony announcing a camera soon? FX3. That one's tempting too. Honestly, if I had the budget, I would drop. Oh wow, a lot of people came into Instagram here. What's up, everyone? How's it going? If I had the budget, I would absolutely drop immediately and get the FX6. Something about that camera, just love that camera. But unfortunately can't. And I don't know if the features from the FX6 that I would want it for are going to translate over to the FX3. And let's be real, I don't think the FX3 is going to be less than $4,000. So at that point, I may as well be looking at Zcam F6 or E2 F6. Sony's high, so X3 soon. It's the same sensor. Nucleus Nano motor died last week. Oh, Hal or Hale, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Nucleus Nano motor died. Honestly, it's funny. I did a rig tour video a couple months ago, and I was talking about how I've taken the Nucleus Nano off my rig. Ever since I've been able to use actually use the run stop with the Nucleus Nano, it has, I'm throwing myself out of focus. It has been a game changer and has stayed on my rig ever since. So I'm sorry about that, man. Super excited for the Pro. Would love a bigger sensor size, but it's all about lenses. It is all about lenses. I'll be honest. I did a little vlog a couple of months ago, and I've been meaning to put it on the channel, but just doesn't fit the vibe of the channel. But I did a vlog with the 18-35 with the Sigma FP and just put it in Super 35 mode. And I loved it. I love the image that came from it. So I'm not knocking Super 35. I think you can do some amazing things with Super 35 with good glass. It's just, it comes down to personal preference. And that's the beauty of this, right? That's the beauty. And this is why I want this to be an open discussion. This is all about, what do you prefer? What do you think? What do I think? I mean, like I said, other than the fact that I don't want to be tied to EF mount, then at that point, like, that's the only reason I didn't pre-order the camera, was because I wasn't super into EF, and that's it. Otherwise, like I said, it's an amazing camera. So it's all about preference. S5 turned me down because of the lens mount. Pocket 6K is sticking because of the size of the mount, price. So Manuel says S5 turned me down because of the lens mount. L mount is interesting. I saw somebody today when my Facebook group post was getting all the hate. Somebody said that they would like for it to have, or Blackmagic to get into the L mount alliance. And I think I'm of a split mind with that. I think the L mount alliance is a photography kind of based direction, but let's take it over. That's my thoughts. I mean, I think it's cool. I have one L mount lens, and that's all I need, which is the Sigma 24-70, and I hands down love that lens. If you are a Sony or a S5, S1H owner, and you're looking for one lens to do a lot of work, 24-70. I did a review on it, but like I bought it after I did that review. It does not leave my camera unless I'm shooting with vintage glass. I love that lens. Raul on Instagram says, between the 7 Artisans 25mm f1.8 and the Lumix 25mm f1.7, which one would you choose for the BMPCC 4K? 7 Artisans 25mm f1.8, because the Lumix is focused by wire, and that drives me nuts. I owned that lens for like a month back when I bought my GH5 and sold it within a month. So keep the comments coming. If I apologize, I kind of babbled on there at the beginning, so keep the comments coming. We're gonna discuss this. The FP appears to be FPL. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So if you're not aware, the FPL is the rumored Mark II of the FP. No one, I don't think anybody really knows if it's the upgrade. Somebody made the joke. I'm on an FP Facebook group as well, and somebody made the joke that basically like it could be like a left-handed grip because it's just FPL. So, but that being said, there's a rumored Mark II. So Hal says FPL appears to be something coming out, but people are saying it's more towards stills. I've heard that. So I heard somebody today say that it might be more geared towards stills, which cool. Gives me less reason to buy it, and I don't have to spend money. If you did not see the announcement today, Sigma actually did put out an announcement from I think it was their CEO, where he was talking about that he is, or they're, not him directly, but they're doing development on a new sensor. From what it sounded like, and I put this in my community post, from what it sounded like, it sounds like they're in early stages. So I don't think this is going to be the Mark II or the L. I think it may be a successor to the FP, which hopefully just has better I/O, because that's the only thing that drives me nuts about the FP. All right, so let me see. Manuel says, what camera are you on right now? I kind of just want to be like, what do you, like, guess? Like, what if I'm on the OG Pocket camera? I'm not. I'm on the Pocket 4K. I am probably a little bit overexposed. Having YouTube hijack my stream and not let me get into the stream and not let me start it, it was a little disheveling, and I'm probably like rambling on, but it's the Pocket 4K with the Sigma 18-35, which, all right, let me know in the chat. You guys are my retail therapy right now. I got approached by someone today to buy the Cine version of the 18-35 for $2,000. That normally retails for close to $4,000. Now it's a used copy, but it's apparently in phenomenal condition. I'm really debating it because parfocal, that's all I know about it. It's just parfocal. Otherwise, it's pretty similar, longer focusing throw, but it's just a Sigma Cine lens too. And that has my heart just pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. So, but that's also dropping $2,000 when I was just literally just be like, I didn't want to spend $2,500 on a new camera. And it's crop sensor. And so I could use it on the FP, but I have to be using Super 35 or crop it in post, which a lot of times will do CineScope anyways. And so that may not be a huge deal. But yeah, that's my thing. I did ask if they had any full frame options that I could get a huge discount on. All right, so let's see. Hal says, yes, mate, Helios, go vote. Go vote on the community page. If you guys do nothing else after this, just go pay attention to my community page. Basically, each week, if I go through so many different YouTube ideas on what videos to make, that most of the time you guys decide what the video is about. And so I'll do a poll of like, what would you guys rather see? And I'll be honest, usually I pick number 2 because usually I'm like, I put, whatever wins, and that's like the most challenging thing to do. And we maybe sometimes like start the video later in the week. And so I'll sometimes have to go with number 2. So basically, just make sure that the one you actually want ends up being result number 2, and it'll work. So yeah, but go to the community page. Give me your voice, all right. Let's see. I think it comes down to image quality. All right. So let me come back a little bit, and let me. Okay. So Leo was talking about why he is looking at the Lumix or the 6K Pro over the Lumix S5, and he says, I think it comes down to image quality. I have yet to see something out of the S5 that makes me go, wow. The SH1 or yes, but not the S5. And you see the stuff out of the 6K, night and day, in my opinion. Honestly, the only thing that I would say about the S5 is, again, it's full frame. I'm not one of these people that think you should do full frame for everything. And I think full frame depends on what you're trying to do. A side note, if you're just joining the stream on YouTube, if the audio is trash, I'm sorry. Something happened with YouTube. Like basically YouTube just doesn't like me tonight. And so basically you're hearing just like out of computer audio. So I apologize if you're just like, this guy has terrible audio. It's been a night. Yeah, Leo, I mean, honestly, it comes down to preference. I think I like having a full frame and a Super 35 or something equivalent to Super 35. Like right now I got the Pocket 4K, and if I try not to use speed boosters as much because it's another glass element between the lens and the camera. But if I want maybe a more Super 35 look to complement the FP, I'll use a speed booster with the 18 to 35 or something like that. But I think it comes down to preference of just, what you like. There's a lot of stuff that, Super 16, you can make look better than Super 35 or full frame for that matter. So if you, I like full frame, but honestly, if you're more wowed by the 6K Pro, go for it. Go for it. Brosworks, what's up, man? I still need to ship you a microphone. It's coming. It's coming, I promise. The snowstorm finally stopped threatening us. By the way, if you're anywhere in Texas or any of these places been affected by all the ice and just ice, I don't think it's snow, I think it's just ice. Hope you're safe. Please be safe. Thinking of you guys. I know it's been rough. I have colleagues that I work with there in Texas right now, and it's not fun. But Brosworks was saying, I like both the C70 and the 6K Pro, but budget-wise, 6K Pro for me, I think, LOL. Honestly, if you're between the two and you're looking at budget, 6K Pro all day, unless you look at the Zcam E2 S6. I won't say that. I may have looked at that camera too. Okay. Alex Williams says, I used to own the Sony FS5 slow-mo variable ND were the best features, but I really didn't get on the Sony color science. Fair. I think the FS5 and FS7, I think those were still kind of like the old kind of Sony color science, like the A7 III and A7S2 color science, which a lot of people hated on. But obviously, I think now people are like, yes, for some of the like Sony A7S III, The color science is more coming from what their cinema line is doing. And we're seeing the same thing with Blackmagic, which is dope, with the Gen 5. But absolutely. Color science, I believe this has been now changed with the newer models. Yeah, so exactly that. Birdie says, my BMPCC 6K Pro says it's back ordered. Do you have experience with that? Honestly, I couldn't. I had a pre-order for like a day and a half. And I could not figure out when it was going to actually ship. I did see in a Pocket 4K group that somebody said it would be like April. And I don't know where they were located, but if it's April, like, damn. Because, I mean, Blackmagic was literally like, it's available now. And then people were like, oh, let's order it. And then you wait till April. Jeez. That being said, also, on that note, I'm still going to be renting this camera because I want, I said this earlier to somebody. I don't even know if these are making a difference. Let me know if, I don't even, whatever. But I said to somebody earlier, we were talking about, YouTube always talking about the latest cameras coming out and playing the YouTube game, the marketing game with YouTube. And I told him, I was like, I get that. I've stopped reacting to like all these different cameras. I may react to like Sony cameras because I do have a pretty big Sony following. And I felt like this week was the week for somebody like myself and my channel to react to this because this is my audience, is Blackmagic audience. And maybe when Sigma announces their new camera, that's the time that I react. So with that, I don't normally try to buy camera or rent cameras, but I will try to get my hands on the 6K Pro so that you guys have a little bit of an idea what that is like and what that looks like. You look fine. You don't look overexposed. Oh, wow. I am super behind. Sell some stuff and get it. Philip, are you talking about, I think you're talking about the FX6, the $6,000. I'm currently on hobby work right now. I'm not even getting paid for anything. I can't afford $6,000. My wife would kill me. Let's see. So Hal says, I'm massively interested in the Sigma Cine Classic Primes, but not by how much they cost. I know. Honestly, I tried looking at the Cine Classic Primes the other day, and I got discouraged when their site even was like, contact us for more information, not even pricing, just like contact us. And I was just like, this is out of my league. I'm done. Oh, Philip was talking about the Cine. Okay, but here's the question. So, okay, let me know what you guys think if you're in this predicament. So I have the 18 to 35 and I have the 5100, both in the photo art series lens, and I have a couple of other lenses I could probably sell. But if I do this, I would literally be taking the 18 to 35, 5100, trying to offload them on eBay, and maybe offload some other lenses as well to buy one 18 to 35. Is it worth it? What would you do? Because I really like the 5100, but I really want a Cine zoom lens from Sigma. Gerald says, I'd snag it and wouldn't think twice as long as you can afford it. I know, man. God, you guys are killing me. So the person that emailed me about it was my one of the Sigma reps I work with, which, if you're not familiar, so I do a lot of reviews for Sigma. They do not pay me to do these reviews. They do not get to influence anything I say on it. I've only had one product from them that I didn't like. And I'll be open about that. It was the macro lens. And I think why I didn't like it was the only reason wasn't really, I think it was just me and my content, because I'm more of a videographer, filmmaker, and that is a photo lens. and it just drove me nuts. I think there were some things about that lens that I couldn't stand. That being said, if you ever see a review of mine, I generally don't talk trash about stuff. One, because I definitely want to keep a good reputation and a good relationship with these brands. And I don't think anybody, in my opinion, it's just not professional to trash something. But if you ever like hear me lace a little bit of negative in with all of my feedback and what I think about the lens, I do that on purpose. I do that on purpose so that you know some of the pitfalls that are there. If you watch that 105 macro lens review, there were definitely some things that I put in there that was just like, this is why I don't really like this. But that being said, I do work with Sigma a lot. They do not influence what I say, what I do. I didn't buy the FP because of them. They asked me to review the FP like a year before I actually bought it. Just so happens it's a fucking amazing camera and I love it. So, all right, Leo says, sorry, I meant S1H. I tried to I got you. You should be able to use the Sigma Cine with the Metabones, right? So Manuel, the Sigma Cine, the problem with the Sigma Cine, so I wouldn't be able to use it with the Metabones. I mean, in theory, but the one problem with the FP is I don't know if there's actually an L mount speed booster, which if there is, please tell me. But then the other thing is the 18 to 35 is a super 35 lens. And so honestly, you wouldn't even like, and correct me if you're talking about using the 1835 on the Pocket 4K or the Sigma FP. If I'm using the FP, if I try to use it in the full frame aspect, it's going to have vignetting. And I know that unless it's something different between the Cine version and the photo version, I know that because I have the photo version and I've tried the Sigma FP in full, or not the Sigma FP, the Sigma 18 to 35 in full frame on the FP, and there is some vignetting on there. I think when you get like somewhere between 28 to 35, it's not as obvious. And I think 35, it's barely there. But that would, so it'd primarily be a super 35 lens. On the Pocket 4K, absolutely. You could absolutely use, I'd probably go with the EF. No, even though I just said I don't want to do EF with 6K Pro. But I'd probably do EF mount and pick up an EF speed booster for if I did want to like a more of a super 35 look on the Pocket 4K. So yeah, you could. The only issue with that, I'd probably upgrade to Metabones because Metabones, I believe, does have a locking speed booster. Because with cinema lenses, speed boosters, if you don't get a quality speed booster, like I have a Viltrox and it's good quality, but I don't know if I trust potentially like $4,000 lens on that speed booster because it doesn't lock. It's not as sturdy. And so that would be my only fear with that. I would absolutely use a speed booster with it, but I probably upgrade the speed booster. So all that to say, yes, you can use a speed booster with 4K in the cinema lens. It's a very wordy answer. I apologize. Talking about the Cine, objectively, no, but you really want to cinema zoom. I do really want the cinema zoom. Not worth it for visually the same. Yeah. Visually the same. Yeah, the thing is visually the 18 to 35, the optics as far as like how it looks are the same. The biggest thing is the focusing throw. And obviously like you have a manual focus zoom ring now, or not a manual focus zoom ring, a non-electronic zoom ring, well technically the photo lens. I'm speaking out of my ass right now, sorry. But the biggest thing again is parafocal, and I think they may have, I don't know, I'll have to see, but I think they may have fixed some of the focus breathing, which definitely the 50 to 100 has bad focus breathing. I can't remember if the 1835, I don't do a ton of focus pulling with the 1835, but that may have bad focus breathing too. So they may fix that with the cinema version. So it's not necessarily like is it a better, like more optically advanced lens necessarily? It's more of just construction quality and things that cater to, you know, things that you may want in a cinema lens. There is an L mount speed booster. I am picking that up. Doing it. So interesting comment. Do you plan to actually zoom in a shot? Not really. I know. If not, then it wouldn't be worth getting rid of the photo lenses. I know. But it's a cine lens. It's a Sigma cine lens. I think it's just the fact of owning it, but I have no reason to own that lens. So I probably will stick with the photo version, but I do need to switch mine over to EF mount. That was the original reason I emailed the guy. I was like, hey, I need to take my Nikon F mount. Back in the day, I bought Nikon F mount because I was trying to be budget friendly, and don't buy the Nikon F mount if you're using the Pocket 4K or any lens where you may at one point, want to, I don't know, it's more of a long-term investment to buy EF. So that would be my thing. I used to advocate for Nikon F mount lenses because it saved money. But yeah, long term, I think you're gonna have a better investment getting EF. So long story short, my whole goal is trying to basically like eventually sell my Nikon F mount lenses. And if you're interested in Nikon F mount lenses, I'll sell you the 50 to 100 and the 18 to 35 for like $1,400. That's how much I need to upgrade them to the EF mount. I think they're worth that. They're pretty pristine condition. I'll even include the speed booster. Seriously, if you're interested in buying some lenses, hit me up on Instagram. We'll have to talk. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to sell on eBay, and we all know how that goes. All right, so we've got. I think everybody dropped off on IG. Awesome. So I'm gonna probably head out here in a little bit, but I hope you guys. I hope that people that pre-ordered the 6K Pro did, or obviously did. I hope you enjoy the camera. I think it's an amazing camera. I said at the beginning, I don't want you guys to think that I cancel my pre-order because I hate the camera. No, it was one nitpicking thing that was just like, if I'm spending $2,500, I'm allowed to be a little bit nitpicking, and it was that. And again, I love the Sigma FP for all its shortcomings. I love that camera. But if you're buying a 6K Pro, dope. I will still be screwing on my ND filters while you're just like, that's the sound it makes apparently when you switch ND filters. But yeah, it's an amazing camera. And one of the reasons I want to get on here was because I think Wednesday I left my initial thoughts with, I'm gonna buy this camera and I think everyone should buy this camera. I don't know if I actually said that. I think I may have said like, if it's right for you. But I wanted to kind of be transparent with you guys. Like, I'm not buying this camera, and this is why. It's an amazing camera. This is just one nitpicking thing I have. Manual, one more question. Will the 6K Pro do 4K B-roll? The specs suggest yes. I have everything that I've seen says yes, which is honestly the only reason why I didn't pick up a 6K, not the Pro, just the normal 6K, was because it only did 4K ProRes. It didn't do 4K B-roll. And I don't know about you, I don't necessarily need 6K. And I don't really want inflated files, which is, one of the reasons I bought the Magic Assist, so I can have compressed RAW rather than full cinema DNG. And so that was a big deterring factor for the original 6K. But like I said, everything I've seen says the 6K Pro does 4K B-roll, and that is another reason. Like, there is probably more reasons why you should buy this camera than why you shouldn't. Yeah, just again, personal preference. I like freaking shallow depth of field too much. It's kind of dreamy. Would you consider the Blackmagic 6K Pro edible? I don't know. Did you mean edible on that? Skeptical. You mind clarifying that question? Well, we get some clarification maybe. Thank you guys for joining. I'm going to start winding this down. I appreciate you guys putting up with technical difficulties, and God, this is a really good image. I love that pocket 4K, and that like this is magic. I love it. This is how much I'm addicted to shallow depth of field. Sorry. Hal says, I'm actually kind of pleased to hear that you might still be pressing ahead with this next microfilm on the FP. Dude, I'm about to get kicked out. I love, so I originally was going to shoot this in the Pocket 4K. And the minute that I did a test shot with the FP, it was done. Absolutely. I'm going to wait for the 7-inch to come in because I do want the run stop with the Nucleus Nano, because I am the talent. And when I'm in front of the camera, I don't have to like run up to the camera, hit record, get myself in focus and all of that. It just creates a little bit more of a nicer experience being able to pull focus, hit run stop, and it start recording. It's a small, really probably like non-deal. So that's why it's delayed just a little bit. I'm hoping for those of you guys that are here, I'm almost done. Give me like 5 minutes. Okay, I'm almost done. I'm getting kicked out. My wife is having my wife's sewing stations right here. And so, it's one of those small deals. But that being said, my goal, if everything works out, is to have this to you guys. Don't hold me to this time frame, but I'm hoping not this Tuesday, but the next, to have this microfilm out to you guys. And I love that you use the phrase microfilm, or the term microfilm. This is going to be a microfilm. I may have said that somewhere else, and so if you clung onto that, thank you, because you will see this listed as a short film on YouTube because YouTube's algorithm doesn't know what to do with microfilms. But that is one thing I do want to set expectation is this is going to be a microfilm. I think right now it's about 2 to 3 minutes. If you guys want to talk about like microfilms versus short films one day and stuff like that, this will be a discussion we have. But that being said, absolutely pressing on. Go to the community page, vote Helios versus Canon FD. Let me know what you want, because I'm up for either one. Good interacting. Manuel says, good interacting with you, Anson. Thanks for the chat. Thank you very much for joining. Skeptactyl finally got back to it. It's been a delight queuing into the live feed. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. Hal says, yes, I do. Yep. Hang on. Yes. So yes, that being said, thank you guys for joining. Again, if you're into the 6K Pro, go order it. Go have fun if you have the money. I like people not being in debt, and that's another reason why I probably didn't buy it, because I'd have to finance it. But still, that's a non-point. But if you have the money, if it's the camera for you, absolutely get this camera. It's an amazing camera. If it's not, don't be pressured in the fact that this is a new camera. New cameras come out all the time, and make what works for you. I will advocate all day for the Blackmagic and ecosystem. Even with the FP, I'm technically in the ecosystem because I'm using the Blackmagic Pocket, the Assist. I don't know why I tried to just call it. So I'm still in the color space relatively. So big believer. So if you're on the fence about 6K Pro, you have the money, you're looking for a great 6K camera with all these bells and whistles, by all means, go for it. But if you're more in line with maybe what Zcam wants or what Sigma wants, and that's the right camera for you and what you need to do, go for that. this warfare style of like talking about cameras is nonsense. These are tools. These are things that capture light, as I heard somebody say last week, and make them do what you want them to do. And I'll leave you guys with that. The awkward part is to end the stream, I have to walk all the way over there. I'm gonna go do that because I'm getting kicked out. All right. Oh, my wife is gonna help me.
What do I do?
Type in my password on the computer. Please don't ask what it is because we're live on the internet.
I'm aware of how to hack into your stuff. Hello.
Say end stream. You guys have a good night.
Goodbye.
Talk to you soon. Peace.